We're going to take a deep dive into the tech and in particular the AI space over the next few minutes. So Fadi, a warm welcome. It's so good to have you here this morning.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here. And thank you, Zach, and thank you, AIM team, for inviting me to speak.
So I wanted to kickstart our conversation with some money that you've been spending recently on a UAE AI startup. This happened back in June, $2.2 million spent in a pre-seed funding round. Tell me what you're seeing in the AI investment landscape right now in MENA. Who's doing what and why? And maybe you can give us an introduction into the company that you've been investing in.
So as Zach had alluded to earlier, so there's the infrastructure that you need for AI. So the big data centers and the compute power that enables AI companies to actually thrive. Without that, you cannot have that. And the UAE is quite busy in doing that. G42 and its sisters, if you want, are heavily involved in that. So there is lots of investment going on locally and regionally and actually globally from groups that are coming out from here. And we're just starting to see AI first, I want to call them, companies that are building their products that are from the beginning AI enabled, and the AI tools that are enabling either e-commerce companies or other SaaS entities in introducing AI to the products that they have. So we're seeing more and more of those, but we're very early stage in that. So we're just seeing the entrepreneurs who have that engineering capability in AI that the region needs now. So and most of them are coming out. There's plenty here, but there's a lot of people coming to the UAE by virtue of the UAE attracting people that are in that domain because they feel that the future is there. And as you know, the UAE has the first AI minister, and so it made a statement a long time ago that AI is strategic to this country.
I always like asking the question of Fadi, what's capturing your interest at the moment? So tell us a little bit about the company that you invested in back in June.
So we invested in engineers, really. We and 3 PhD engineers who came from DeepMind and Google, who basically told us they're all data scientists, and they came out, and this is new for us. So this is really, they didn't have a product. They just said, there are 2 or 3 things that we can do, and here's who we are, and here are our capabilities, and here's what our experience is. And we really invested pre-seed. So this is new because we believed in these engineers, and they eventually came up with an incredible product that is effectively a tool that enables e-commerce companies to conduct all their work. E-commerce companies, you see the front end, but the back end is quite complicated. And so they're introducing AI capabilities there that enables them to interact with their clients, introduce immediate content that reflects if you want, the interaction of their client base on an instant basis with these AI tools. I mean, and so we're happy with that. Their second round is coming up soon, and all VCs are trying to squeeze themselves into that company. And it's unique. This is the first that we've seen here in the region, in my view.
I also wanted to ask you about that as well, because the competition for these deals is heating up. There's more than 100 different VCs operating in the region right now.
More than 100.
More than 100?
Yeah, there's 60, 70 of them in Saudi Arabia now.
There you go. So, plenty of competition out there. And we have foreign funds also coming in as well. So how do you see the competition for deals impacting valuations?
I hope that we've learned from the lessons of the boom a couple of years ago and doing stupid valuations to companies that don't deserve it. And I hope we've learned from the lesson that investing in cash guzzlers until they prove their market product is, I hope that we've learned from that. My problem is because there are so many VCs and they all want to squeeze into certain deals, And so it becomes, again, an entrepreneur-led process. And so the entrepreneurs are going to look for the highest bidder, if you want, and they'll go for that. And that's a mistake, and it will continue to be a mistake, but because you will get punished in your next round, right? So if you don't come out and produce a product that is actually has an immediate need in the market, you're going to be going back to the old formula that was proven not to work. So many companies died that have raised so much money, and they were so hopeful, and they were the superstars of certain industries, and they just couldn't make it because they were in the business of keep spending until you prove, until you get enough business, and then you're able to get to profitability. That formula doesn't work, and I hope the VCs understand that outrageous valuations are not good for the industry.
And the other interesting thing is it's not just VCs, it's also sovereign capital that's now providing the competition as well, particularly in our part of the world.
No, the sovereigns then have been fueling the ecosystem by participating in it. As you might know, the sovereigns over the past years, their mandate was to invest outside the region because they wanted to get alternative income for the oil and gas industries here in the region. I think with the political decision in the region to transform the economies into digital economies and 21st century economies, and to drive away the economies from being dependent on income coming from the oil and gas industry, they have basically mandated the sovereign wealth funds, PIF, QIA, and Mubadala, ADQ, all of these suddenly have mandates to actually fuel the ecosystem here, meaning they're anchoring most of the funds here. So they're doing the right thing, in my view. They're not squeezing out VCs by investing and not letting these VCs come in. They're actually probably anchoring every single VC that is coming out in the region, and coming in late, because there is a gap in the market with late stage investing. So bigger checks, over $25, $30 million, $50 million checks. All our VCs, and I mean, I don't like to generalize. All our VCs do not have that capability. No one can write $50 million checks in the region. And so the sovereigns do that, and they encourage their friends in the West and in Asia to come and participate here. So, for instance, General Atlantic has set up an operation here in the region and have done some pretty two or three investments that the guys from Peak 15, who used to be Sequoia, are also coming in with their late-stage investing. So you have the global funds coming to the region, investing, because they see the sovereigns investing here. And I think the sovereigns encourage them, because they say, if you want us to invest in your funds, why don't you come and look at this region? Because there is an opportunity here, and because we need them, not because of their money only, but we need them for their global networks and their global, the companies that they invest in globally. There's a lot of learning there to happen.
Right, so to take the ecosystem to the next level. And what's really interesting as well is that when you look at the growth and maturity of some of these sovereign funds as well, at the moment, Abu Dhabi manages more sovereign wealth fund capital than any other city globally, $1.7 trillion in assets under management. It's bigger than Oslo right now. So we are seeing huge growth. How do you see that growth developing and ultimately impacting the VC investment landscape and the startup ecosystem?
I mean, all you have to do is just read the news every day about what Abu Dhabi and the UAE are doing in this space, and the strategic investments that is happening in AI. There's an AI university, and there is at any moment in time, if there isn't 4 or 5 pieces of news about somebody doing something in AI from the government and from the sovereigns, you would not be reading any news. So it's busy. They understand that AI is going to drive the next wave of economic transformation globally, and they want to be leaders in that. So we've learned the lesson of things happening here 4 or 5 years after the fact that it happened somewhere else. But I think there is leadership here, so it's going to happen here. So if you hear some of the announcements that are happening, Microsoft is investing $1.5 billion with G42 in Abu Dhabi, specifically targeting AI. And so when Microsoft invests 1.5, so you will hear all sorts of other companies that are saying, so why is Microsoft doing something here? So everybody follows. And so there is that strategic decision that we don't want to be dependent and we don't want to be followers. So don't come and take our money alone and go invest it somewhere else. We will invest our own sovereign money in our own sovereign states, and we are going to be independent and interdependent with us participating in the future process here. So the old formula of all these people coming and raising money and going somewhere else does not work anymore, in my view. And the sovereigns are making a statement, and the political leadership of this country, and not only this country, across the region, there is a clear understanding of the need to be independent and at the forefront of any investment that is going to transform our economies.
So let's unpack that a little bit further, and to also just challenge the view, it's also pretty hard to build a startup in this part of the world.
No, who says that?
The competition to, the competition to be the home base for a startup is intensifying globally. And when you look at some of the particular challenges in the region, whether it's talent or regulation or even competition between cities, for example, I'm talking about UAE and Saudi in particular. There's no shortage, right? What would you say?
Did you read the news about how many people are going to move from London to Dubai? Have you been following that story?
I have noticed the traffic, actually.
So recently, just now, 67, I don't know,
Also, I'm playing devil's advocate.
So yeah, I know, I'm just teasing back. So look, the region is happening. When you have 120 funds in the region, we're basically saying also that we have our own money to build our own startups. And tourist VCs are, you can come and invest one time and go away when your own markets are ruined. We've had some of those, like Tiger Global came in, ruined the market here by giving outrageous valuations. And then when something happened in their own markets, they packed their bags and went. And who stayed? Who's here? Our sovereign money is here. Sovereign money is family offices, it's our VCs, it's our governments. I mean, we are here because we are the sons of daughters of this region, and we want to build the startups of this region. And if somebody from the outside feels that there's an opportunity, ahlan wa sahlan. If there isn't, we have our own. So attracting talent, do I need to argue with you about how talent is being attracted here? The competition in the region for talent between Riyadh, Abu Dhabi, and Dubai, and Doha, and everywhere else. I mean, it is happening. They're opening up. Rules and regulations are changing. The residency, the giving out passports. I mean, this is the war of talent going to the next level by facilitating things while, and I'm going to be a bit controversial, try to go to the West and get a residence permit. I'm a talented person. I want to go in London. How difficult is it for me, or to Paris, or for? I mean, they don't want somebody that looks like me anyway. But the reality of the matter, these are open cities. We are open for everyone, and we are multinational cities, and we're not afraid of different nationalities. Everyone is welcome here. Everyone is welcome. The leadership of this country and the leadership of this region says that if you live here, if you earn your income here, then you're one of us. And this is a big statement. It's a big statement that attracts talent. And talent is coming from Russia, from the Ukraine, and from Lebanon, and from Jordan, and from everywhere else in Europe. So you will see China. I mean, you should see the Chinese companies that are moving to town. We don't talk about them because I guess they have their own community, and you don't see many of them here. But I think sometime we better start inviting them here because they're busy. They are busy doing stuff in this region, and China is, China is China. It moves in AI. They're leaders. And so our markets are growing, are adopting. We're people in the region that interact and buy online, and our corporates are global corporates today. Our sovereigns are also investing in global companies that want to do stuff here in the region. So back to starting companies here. So you need talent, you need capital, you need markets, and you need a regulatory environment. So the regulators in the region are moving very quickly, specifically on fintech. The central banks are being pressured by the decision makers of this country and other countries and says, catch up to the startups. Because if you want them to stay here, the regulator has to be in tune. And they are becoming in tune. And so when you hear the stories of how Dubai transformed itself into a crypto capital of the world, is by creating VARA. They understood the process. So we want to give you comfort and predictability in telling you, here are the rules. You want to come and play in this town, in the business that you are in. Here are the rules of the game, and play according to these rules, and then you are most welcome here. So adhering and being in tune with the global challenges that crypto has. So you don't also see a lot of crypto companies here, but crypto is huge in this town. Huge companies that are doing blockchain solutions. I mean, it's different crowd. I mean, none of them will be wearing suits.
Well, I'm glad I provoked a response. Let me put it that way. Fadi, while we have you, I also wanted to ask, we've spoken a little bit about AI, but what do you see as the businesses, the startups that are going to drive the next wave of entrepreneurialism in the MENA region?
Look, the next wave is startups are a reflection of the economies they operate in, right? So our startups are solving for our regional issues and challenges. So in commerce, in entertainment, in government services, and in business solutions for corporates. So all the startups are a reflection of that. So are for banks. So fintech is disrupting banking, and banking is investing in fintech today. So these are the startups of today. And then AI is coming and basically becoming a tool that enables everyone to do whatever they're doing at a much faster and a much quicker and a much lower cost phase. And so this is what is happening. So there's nothing earth-shattering here, except that the digitization of the economy is the wave that has started, and it will continue. So wherever the economies go, the startups are going to go or are going to lead, so that everyone follows these disruptors that are coming from within our own economies.
And just finally, what advice would you give to startup founders who are looking to raise capital in this environment or grow their business in the UAE and around the region? How do they get into your office and into your inbox?
Look, this is a question that I get asked all the time. There are, as I said, there's a digital, for instance, in Dubai, there's a digital economy chamber of commerce. If you're a startup if you're a founder, if you're an entrepreneur that just landed in this town, right? You go to the people that run the digital economy chamber, and they will basically give you from A to Z everything that you need to know about this time, and they will introduce you to the thriving ecosystem. One. Number two, there are 3 or 4 known communities in this town that are in the startup world. And so you connect to one of them and you're suddenly connected to everyone. This is a small town, the community is small, there's a lot of people that opening their doors, and VCs are looking for companies. I mean, they're begging for companies. They want to see people to fund. But you'd better have a product that fits the market and solves for real problems, and you'd better understand, you'd better have a good team with you, and you'd better understand the market size that you're looking at, and show that you have enough knowledge of crossing borders into different markets across the region, because you cannot scale only in one market here. You have to scale across the region, and that's, in my view, we don't have time, but the big challenge that needs to be done now is that the GCC markets really need to open up to each other, so that there is a unified regulatory environment, so that when I start a business in Riyadh, I can move to Dubai quickly, or if I start a business in Kuwait, I can move to Dubai immediately with a harmonized regulatory environment. That doesn't exist yet. Once it exists, then you have the 6th largest economy in the world in the GCC on the map.
Absolutely fascinating, Fadi. We're out of time. Wish we had more, but thanks so much for your insights today. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much.